Hi everyone. I'm kind of glad that we still have some audience, even though it's early morning for all of us. We are not used to attending 9:30, 10 a.m. sessions, are we? Even in college, we would generally skip the first class, right? Okay, tell me something. How many of you are watching reels or shorts on your way here? Or even right now, killing time? Yeah, right? That's the short form, big impact that we're going to talk about today. But let me quickly just give you a brief introduction about who I am and what I have been doing. Let me see if this clicker works. Yes. So I call myself a senior content creator. Senior because I've been doing it for so long. I feel like a senior class fellow who can give advice to my juniors now. And I've been doing it for 10 years. This year, in fact, marked 10 years of me doing this, which makes me feel a little old, but also incredible because I've seen so many changes happen. I've seen the world of internet really come to life in front of me. I started with a fashion blog with a corny name called Spill the Sass in 2015 and very quickly realized that nobody wants to read. They want to watch, they want to look. And so I quickly moved to YouTube, which was the big thing then, and started making vlogs, started making haul videos, look at my clothes and look at everything that I got and added to the consumption. And then I actually moved to comedy in 2018, which was a happy accident, I would like to call it, because I didn't even know I could do comedy and it happened. And I realized I have so much fun doing it. I love writing comedy, I love performing it. And in these 10 years, people know me for my skits, my satire, my storytelling, which is what I thoroughly enjoy. And the last point here says that I had a difficult relationship with short form content. Now, let me just explain a bit here. I'm a millennial, okay? I have grown up watching Ekta Kapoor serials with 1,000 episodes. 3-hour, 4-hour long movies were piece of cake. Would watch YouTube web series with like 20, 25 minutes an episode, right? Very easy. And so when short form content was introduced, as a creator, I was very uncomfortable. I couldn't imagine bringing my thoughts alive in less than a minute. In fact, people are doing it in like 12 seconds, 15 seconds now. That's short form content, right? I still sometimes try to be like, okay, 90 seconds maybe. But initially, there was a lot of friction for me that I felt because I come from the time of long form content, when long form content was the one shining, thriving, moving, right? And then we moved to this short form content and I felt a little helpless. I didn't know what to do. In fact, now, sometimes I feel that you guys who are the younger ones know this better than I do because you have been brought up in this generation of short form content. It's much easier for you. But of course, there have been a lot of learnings for me, which is why I'm doing this masterclass today. These are some of the snippets of things I have done. And to brag just a little more, I'm going to share some viral moments because we are going to talk about virality today a lot. And these were our first viral moments for me. Now, these are all long-form content. It started with this character IP series we used to call South Delhi Girls, which the 3rd episode was the one that really went viral. And for me, that was my first taste at virality. We uploaded the video one evening. Next morning, we come to work, and the world had changed. There were thousands of comments, there were lakhs of views, thousands of shares, and the best part? WhatsApp forwards. I mean, you have gone viral truly if you can infiltrate WhatsApp, if it reaches that, right? And we did that, and it was surreal because suddenly so many people knew of us. Suddenly they were watching our content, and when you go viral, that one video actually makes people watch other videos that you've done in the past. It's very helpful. So it was a new feeling altogether, but it was great. And then Raju Ki Mummy, a character that I used to do, something with that also went viral, and again, another amazing time. A video that a lot of people know me from. They may not have seen any other content I've made, but this video right here was my house tour video that I made, honestly, did not think about it. I made it on a whim. In fact, I made it because I didn't have anything to post. So I was like, I'll just make a home tour. I'm home, and let me just add my mom to this, and just have fun with it. And somehow, again, I woke up to millions of views in one day, which I had not seen, especially on a private personal channel of mine, because the other two were still with the company that I was working for. So this was a personal achievement, and it felt unbelievable, right? But all of this was long form. Now we'll quickly come to short form content, just a bit of lesson here. History, which you're all very aware of already. But of course, TikTok popularized it in 2018. In fact, if you all remember, Instagram also used to have a 1-minute video limit. So that was already kind of short form, right? But TikTok popularized the vertical short form content. The feeds started becoming vertical. They were not square anymore. They were not the 3x4 or the 4x3. And our feeds started to look different. Video and video content was the one that was being pushed. Obviously, Instagram jumped on it. We started with Reels in 2020. And then YouTube launched Shorts in 2021. So now we have all these platforms where only this vertical, short-form content is what is truly shining right now and what is being pushed. Now, as you can see, the duration obviously matters. I try to say it's 90 seconds because I generally still make little longer videos than regular people, other content creators. But of course, people can make a 10-second video or 5-second video. It doesn't matter. It still works as long as your thought, what you want to say, is coming across. I mean, if you can ace it in those few seconds, amazing, right? And now the attention span, which we all talk about, we don't have any. I mean, 8 seconds on an average. I'm surprised you're all still listening to me. A goldfish's attention span is apparently 9 seconds, so shame on us, but that's what we do, and that's what our lives look like right now. We don't have a lot of time and attention to give to anything right now. We want to jump to things, we want to have fun, we want to look for more, we want to distract ourselves from our bad lives or busy lives, right? From the anxiety and everything else. Now, this is the cycle of content. We've all read about life cycle of a butterfly and whatnot. This is the life cycle of content pieces, or what it looks like on platforms. Now, of course, it starts with someone uploading a video. Then algorithm will push it. It'll reach more people. Now, why this algorithm will do that? Because algorithm right now is pushing short form. Beach mein, sometimes it tells you, oh, it's pushing carousels right now, post more carousels. So, of course, we all get to learn as content creators what's working, what's not working, what is being pushed, what is not. But generally, overall, short-form content is what is being pushed and has been pushed for the last few years, I would say. So, algorithm push happens. Obviously, it gets more views. And the moment it gets more views, more people want to join in because it looks easier. It feels like you can do it too. So that means more creators join the board. And when that happens, of course, overall, as an audience and even as creators, we spend a lot more time on these apps, right? Which is what these apps, these platforms want. That's their end goal, and that's why they're doing this. Okay, so this is generally the cycle of how this works. Now, why it's happening is, first of all, of course, no surprises, we are addicted to our phones. Like, crazy addicted. Okay, I feel like it's an extension of our body at this point. If you ever forget your phone somewhere, which is very rare now, it's a panic situation, right? We don't know how to function without our phones. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to live life without our phones anymore. We're really addicted. I would not want to commit to a 2-hour movie, but I would still waste 2 hours on Reels. I mean, I don't even realize it, so don't ask my screen time. But the next one is because it's fast, it's casual, it's on the go. You don't need to take out time to watch this entertainment. You can just be on the pot, doing your business, and also watching 30 reels, right? It's easy, it's fun. You also get to connect with your friends. Like, look at this is us. This is so me, right? Which also brings me to the next point, is that it's a new language. It's a new form of communication. You communicate with your friends like this these days. I may not have talked to my best friend in like a month, but I'll still be sharing 30 memes every day with her saying, oh my God, look at this.
Isn't this reminding you of that boy we once met? Ew. Right? Or just like not say anything, just share. This whole sharing business between each other. I mean, my partner just told me I might be going off of Instagram, I don't want to do social media. I said, but like, how am I going to share reels? Excuse me? How am I going to connect with you? Right? So all of this short form content has become so integral to us as our form of communication now. So many thoughts, even to my mother I've started sending reels, which remind me of her. Absurd, but that's what the world has come to, and that's the beauty of it also. It's tailor-made for you, which is how the algorithm works, right? Algorithm sees what you like, what you're interested in, it gives you more of that, which is what makes, as an audience, harder to get out of it. But as a creator, it tells you what is it that audiences want to watch, what is it that's working, what kind of audiences would you want to tap into, which kind of interests and sections of things would you want to talk about, what do you want to bring knowledge about, right? What do you want to entertain about? Then, of course, the last point, which is mostly for creators, is low barrier of entry. There is nothing to think about these days. When I started YouTube, I had to think of like, oh my God, which camera am I going to get? What kind of lighting should I do? I was, always worried about like, okay, I'm going to invest this much and then figure it out. Nowadays, you don't need any of that. All you need is a simple phone, stable internet connection, and that's it. You could be a sober girl, or you could be a farmer in Nasik, and you could be equally big in the content creation space, right? It needs no sort of, there's no restriction, it's so democratized, it's easy to get into, and that also is something that I absolutely love about content today, is that we get to see so much variety and so many people who may not have had that chance, but because short form content is overall easier to tap into, easier to make, a lot of people are joining it and showing their talent, which is amazing. Okay, this is just some stat points, don't want to bore you, but they are important because these are the studies that have happened in the last few years for short form content. You can see here in 2025, early 2025, 70 billion views on YouTube Shorts. That's crazy. In fact, the second point, I found it kind of unbelievable because it says 30% viewer time on Reels. For me, it's a lot more. But it did say that it is projected to be 80% by 2025. So we are clearly, we are consuming this so much. Users spend 95 minutes a day, which is, again, I feel like it's a little less, but maybe there are people who have lives and are not all the time on the internet like I am. But 73% of consumers said that they like learning about a product or a service via watching these short-form videos. In fact, it's so crazy now that if you type on Google anything you want to learn about, anything you want to ask. The other day I said, okay, 12-day Thailand trip. It showed the top row is all videos. You're getting all your answers in these short-form videos now, right? Your UI, all the interfaces for all the apps are vertical. They're made for this content. The autoplay feature, everything is around it, which really helps. And then, of course, 50% marketeers also said that they get the best ROI through short-form content, which obviously feels great because if you want to get into something like this, this is the time. Now, DIY, it's an internet term we all know of. And how do you do it yourself? Of course, these are the basic things we all learn on Instagram as well, but let me just explain a little bit here. Start with a killer hook, very important. The 3-second rule we all know about. It has to be bang on in 3 seconds, it has to capture attention, it has to capture everybody's attention, basically, right away. And it can be however you want to do it. It can be visual, verbal, some sound, a question, text. It can be anything, but it has to be a hook because whether you like it or not, that's what people want to see. And if in the 3 seconds you have failed to capture that attention, they'll move to the next thing. Then do a storytelling. Tell a story. Now, obviously, when I say tell a story, doesn't mean you have to, in a cliche sense, tell a story. But anything that you're making a video on still has to have some story around it. It has to have a beginning, a middle, an end, an impact, a question that you're answering, something. Even the videos which people make nowadays, which have 10 parts, right? Like, okay, I'll show you my outfit in the second part. This was my makeup video. But that's the story they're telling. They want to show you the outfit, but you'll have to wait for it. And now you wait for the part 2. That's how you capture the attention. That's how you tell that story. So that doesn't mean it has to be something serious, but it has to keep the audiences engaged all the time, right? Keep it engaging, keep the hooks alive, end it on a cliffhanger, tell them you have to come to part 2, as annoying as it gets for the audiences, but as for creators, this is what works. Then visuals, above everything else. I'm not saying it has to be a great camera, great footage, great edit, but the visuals have to keep moving, they have to tell something, they have to say something. A lot of audiences actually apparently watch videos without sound, which makes the visual even more important. Use subtitles, try editing it in a fun way, have faster edit possible. Of course, now we edit on our phones, right? So it's so easy now to do all of this. So make sure that visuals are also changing. It should not be one of those monotonous videos where you're just sitting and talking to the camera. I mean, I still do that sometimes, but try to change that, of course. And then relatability or value results in bigger viral power or potential, right? So if your video either has something that is relatable to people or it's adding some value. Are you saying something that a lot of people will connect with? Or are you bringing some sort of value to people's minds and in their lives? That's what results in it maybe ending up as a viral video even more. That potential increases multifolds when you add some sort of relatable factor, some sort of value that you want to give with it. Again, nothing serious. It can be so fun, it can be easy, it can be fashion, makeup, it can be comedy, anything. But if it's relatable, it works amazingly because then people can share it with each other, they can engage with that content, and that's what virality is, right? Now, let me give you, like, this COVID love story was a show that I made right after COVID. And what I did with it was all these things. Started with a hook and told a story, obviously, it was all episodes. And all the time, with each video, with each episode, I would end on a cliffhanger which would make people want to come back, right? We were telling a story, it was relatable to people. They've all been in similar boats, having a crush, finding a boy cute, all of those good things. Now, voice. To me, I think your voice on the internet as a creator is the most important thing that you can try to look for or work on. Now, this can be your style, your tone. Style, by style, we don't mean your fashion and other style. I mean, that also works. But it can be anything, that your style of editing, your style of saying things, your style of delivering your dialogues, your style of, doing certain things which might be different from other people. And that is what actually sets you apart from other creators, because if people do the exact same thing, the exact same way that everybody else is doing, it's monotonous. Your tone, what tone are you talking in? Is it calm? Is it warm? Is it loud? Is it entertaining? Like, how do you figure that out? What works for you? So what you have to ask yourself is, first, what comes naturally to you, right? What are the topics, think about it, what are the topics that you genuinely, naturally like to talk about in life? Write them down. Then also see what kind of personality you have. Like I said, are you a calm explainer? Are you a warm motivator? Are you someone who wants to entertain loudly all the time? Are you the joker of the group, which sometimes I can be, which is why comedy works for me? So what are you? Try to figure that out. And of course, when we say try to figure that out, doesn't mean you have to figure it out in one day and before you start. This is a process. Take your time. Consistency over perfection. Remember that, which is very hard for me also because, see, at the end of the day, all creators are artists. This is an art form, right? I take it very seriously. And I think for artists, it is very hard to let go of perfection and understand that not every video, every piece of content is going to be something they're going to be extremely proud of. But that's where we fail, because then we start taking too much time about it, thinking, overthinking. So let go of that pressure. Sometimes it can be 70% of you liking it or being proud of it. So don't think about that. Think about the consistency with which you should be posting. And authenticity is, again, very important. Because on the internet, while of course you may have viral moments, you may have trends that help you, but eventually it is your authenticity which will bring people again and again to you, because they want to watch you. They want to learn from you, they relate with you, and they want to see more and more of you. So finding your voice, to me, is extremely important. Now, of course, this is again me bragging, but I'll quickly tell you about why these videos worked, and they have so many views. Now, we'll start with Budhvar. Budhvar was a rendition, a character based on Wednesday, an Indian version of it. And so this is original content, fiction. Original content, for it to go viral, is a tad bit harder than when you participate in trends and when you participate in something too relatable. Of course, this is not relatable. None of us are like this. We don't have a hand walking over us, and we don't stare all the time. But this is that character. It's a little unhinged, a little spooky, and somehow it worked. We have almost 11 million views on this one. Another original piece of content we did was Best Worst Date, which is a series that I made on Instagram with multiple episodes. And this almost 7 million views for the first episode, which is crazy. Again, for anybody who makes content knows that original content is harder to pick up. But now we come to the points that I just discussed, which were relatability or value. Now look at these numbers. 75 million views. Doesn't happen every day, right? Even to me. So why did this work? Because the peg here is going through a breakup in an Indian household. So when you go through a breakup in an Indian household, you just can't say it. You can't show your emotions. You might be broken inside, you might be crying inside, but the moment mummy says, gobi aloo banaya, aake dinner kar lo, you have to go sit on that dinner table and pretend like nothing has happened. And this video showed that reality, and a lot of people connected with it because it is the reality. It is what makes this video relatable and shareable, and I could see people connecting with it so much. Again, another similar video, 118 million views and still counting. It's still working to this day. I don't know how, but it's crazy because see the peg, Real Suhagrat, a documentary. Of course, it's not a documentary. It's clickbait. Okay? Of course, people are doing rage bait and all also now, but this was clickbaity. It's not a documentary. It's, again, fiction, character work. But we showed the reality of a Suhagrat. Now, in movies, we've all seen that the first night of your wedding is, of course, fun and sexy. But no, it's not like that for most of us. From what I have learned from my friends and my relatives is that the first night is crazy. It's tiring. You're tired after that big day and the big clothes you have to wear. You just want to take them off and you want to lie down. That's all you want to do, right? And this is what we showed in that video, and a lot of people could connect with it. And of course, the singles were curious as to oh my God, is that seriously what happens? We were expecting a lot more. But that's what worked for this video. So combining all the things that I had previously said, this is what works. So your voice and keeping the relatability or value in mind. Now, a little bit about virality and value, because see, as much as I love going viral, or any of us love, and we keep waiting for that moment and keep working for that moment, virality it doesn't give you longevity. It doesn't last too long. Of course, it gives you a great push. It brings newer audiences to your page, who might like other content that you do. But virality also comes with its cons, right? It lacks depth. It may not reflect everything that you are, because it's just one video. And most times, that one video is around a trend, is around trending music, or something cultural that's happening. Now, by trends, we don't mean just audio trends or dance steps. By trends, we mean even the cultural trends that are happening around you, the politics that's happening around you. What is it that you want to say through your content? What kind of personality do you have? All of those things, they add the depth. That value adds depth to you. So you have to do a mix of both these things as a content creator. Of course, try to go viral, participate in all those trends, do all of those things, but make sure you're adding value to your content. You're adding your own flair, your own flavor, your uniqueness. How I thrive in my videos is when people tell me, oh, we watched that video, we knew it was from you. We know your language, right? They should know you and not just 2-3 viral videos you did. What is it that you want to say overall? That's what your audiences should know about, and that's why both these things have to work together. Now we come to monetization. I've kept it simple here, but it is actually simple and it should be. Because first of all, for me as a content creator, my content is the most important. Of course, we all want to make money. It's all great. And this is a great time to be a creator, right? But content should be your biggest priority. Do not just do whatever a brand asks you to do, right? Because they are going to send you campaigns which are going to look the same for 100 other creators, and then everybody's going to make the same video. And that's it. You might get your money, of course. It'll work for a few years, of course. But again, it'll not last, right? So first thing you have to make sure you do is keep it natural. Make sure however you're promoting a product comes naturally to you. It's a part of your life. It's a part of the videos that you do. That video should still have content in it apart from that brand plug or that integration, right? So that when the audiences watch it, they still enjoy it. They should not feel like, oh my God, just another ad. I'm tired. That's what the challenge here is. And of course it is a challenge. We all work around it. This is the business side of our jobs. So it can be hard sometimes, but try to make sure that it flows naturally. It comes organically, right? Then it should be true to you. Don't do something that you've never done before. Don't do something just because a brand is asking you to do because they want 50 people to do the exact same hook step. No. If it doesn't come naturally to you, say no. I know it can be hard. It's been hard for me as well. But try to make sure you do that, because this is, again, where the value comes in. This is where audiences get value, because if they see you jumping to everything, doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, they're not going to think about you again. They'll move on. They'll be the non-active followers, even if they're still following you. They're not going to engage anymore with your content. Then involve your community. Very, very important. So whichever brand you're working with or what kind of integrations you're doing, it's very important to make sure your community is still as involved. They know what you're doing. Talk about those products. If they're asking you in comments, how does this work? Can you tell me more? Engage. Which is also why influencer marketing works, because we are connected to the audiences so directly. I can answer. I can send a link quickly to my community if they want to ask me, or if they tell me, Dolly, how long have you tried this? I couldn't have said it in the video maybe, but I can actually personally message them. So this is what makes people believe us a lot more. And that belief is very important. And also to keep that belief alive is very important, which is why only do things which are true to you, tried and tested products, something that comes naturally, and also maintain a balance. A lot of profiles I see now are filled with sponsored content. Of course, bless them, making money, everyone should, but you have to maintain a balance between organic content and your paid content, right? Because otherwise, again, people are going to get irritated, they're going to get annoyed that you do the same thing again and again. Every video has a product plug, and it's tiring to watch. So don't do that. Make sure after every brand video, you have at least 2 videos going up, which are just you, organic, natural, saying what you want to say, and doing all the fun things, right? Short form content has 2.5 times more engagement and chances of working than any other video. So this is the time, guys, to get on the board and learn from all these things. But at the end of the day, honestly, my advice is to be you, to stay true to who you are. If short form isn't coming naturally, start with long form. These days we have 3-minute shots also, right? Even on Instagram, you can upload a longer video. If you're not able to concise your thoughts down, it's okay. I get it, I also feel content creation is a job which has a lot of pressure, where you can lose yourself, where you can start working around audiences. It's a little heartbreaking. It's also a job which gives you a lot of anxiety, because it's pretty much like giving exam every day and then waiting for the report card right there and then. How are people going to react? What are they saying? Is it working? Is it not working? And we've all been there, right? So try not to lose yourself within all this. It's great. Have fun with it. Apply all these tips and tricks, right? But have fun. That's the most important. And also, one other thing I want to say is that content creation is always evolving, because you're always evolving. You're growing every day. I have grown from, I don't know who I was in 2015. When I watch my old videos, I cringe. But that's the beauty of it, that our content grows with us. If today I like fashion and everything, I want to talk about it, great. But if 5 years down the line, which has happened with me, is that I've chosen comfort over fashion now. I'm a big girl. And that's what my content reflects now, right? So yeah, keep all these things in mind, and it should work out for you. Short form, big impact. And do we have time for, we have 10 minutes. If we have any questions. Pranjal. Hi.
Hi. Sorry. Just wanted to ask, how was your entire journey and let's say lifetime of Kutti Bhabi and Zinat Baji before you came to all this short films?
Yeah, we were talking about it initially. So I'll quickly tell who Pranjal is. Pranjal is actually a very sweet boy. I'm meeting him for the first time today, but I connected with him on Instagram way back. Because remember when we all used to have character, like filters were a big thing. Now, not so much. But in the middle, filters were a huge thing. Every creator wanted a filter of their own. And so did I. And so I asked this sweet boy to help me with making filters for my characters that I was doing at the time. So thank you for the question, Pranjal. I mean, it's been great. I mean, initially we used to work with characters, exaggerated characters that were a little unbelievable, a little unhinged, a little, like I said, exaggerated. And they used to work a lot, but then it stopped working completely. And what works now is how real you are. Of course, these are all trends. They keep changing. And as a content creator, the biggest challenge is to adapt, is to be able to keep changing with these trends. And now people, right now, what they want to see is they want to see the real you. What do you do? What do you eat? What do you like? What is your family like? What is your dog like? Does your child cry? All of those things, right? So we've had to adapt. And of course, it's not easy. I've had a bit of a time with it, right? Like, oh my God, I have to stop doing my characters. What? I used to love writing for them. But now I have to be Dolly, at least for now, And it's honestly, it's working well. It's going great. But there's always going to be a bit initially where you feel like, oh my God, it's changed again. The algorithm has changed again. And everything feels overwhelming. There's new features every day on Instagram. It's hard to keep up, right? But literally, I feel like as a content creator, this is our job, to adapt. Thank you. Any other question? Yeah. Yeah, you can have the mic.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ishita.
Hi, Ishita.
I've been trying to create content as well and put myself out there, but I really agree when you say, getting stuck between value and trends. So what is like your best tips you could give to not lose yourself but still be able to put out viral or like trendy content?
Yeah, I think trends are very important because obviously they have that push. The algorithm is already pushing that, whatever that trend is, audio, visual, topic, anything, right? I think it's important to participate, but I always tell people, do it with your own flair. Try to do it in a different way, even if it's a dance video. Maybe your background is different. Maybe your clothes are saying something else. Or if it's a trend of a dialogue, maybe try to use a different peg with it, which nobody has used it, right? I feel like drive the trends, but your goal is the value, right? So participate in the trends, have fun, but balance it with the value. So keep switching between these two is what I also try to do. So maintain that balance, try to maintain that balance. And if you can, like I said, add your flavor to the viral thing. Sometimes it can be hard because it's the exact same thing people want to do and that's what works. But sometimes if there is space and time to add something that you want to add as your unique value, then add that, because that's going to set you apart. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
So you just talked about, hi, my name is Saharsh.
Hi,
so
Saharsh.
you just talked about the unique value and like what you are providing the audience or when they watch the, like how they feel after they watch the content.
Yeah.
So I have noticed, like I've been following you since a long time, like since 1500 views per reel, something like that.
Thank you.
So like there is a constant theme, an underlying theme regarding whatever original content you create, like ladies washroom and like those kind of worst date ever, and even the documentary that you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So like what's the process of your story writing, and like how regarding how you maintain the trends as well as the perspective that you want to present in front of the audience?
Yeah, I think for me, and this is obviously, guys, taken me a lot of time to figure. It's taken me 10 years as to what is it that I want to do. What is it that I want to say? And I've realized that what I enjoy the most is telling stories, doing something like that, writing them. I've also realized that I actually enjoy writing a lot. Right? I like bringing these characters to life, these stories to life. I also have started to enjoy direction. And like that's why I said that you're going to be ever changing, and so will your content, and it'll show that different phases of your time on the internet, right? That's what I try to do, is I try to tell my stories and keep it original. And I've always had this weird thing about my content, is I always try to say something through it, like moral of the story vibes, because I always feel that while watching my content, I want my audiences to take something home with them. I don't want my content, at least, to be like you don't have to use your mind for it. I want people to use their minds. I want people to think after they've watched my content for 5 seconds, maybe not more, but something. They should take something home. And that's what gives me a lot of joy, working on those pieces. But again, we all have to succumb to trends here, you know. So sometimes we have to do those things which may not be the most fun all the time. We have to just participate. But like I said, part of the job. And if you can make it fun, if you can make it you, do that. And I try to do that from time to time. But more often than not, I want at least my content to not be one of those numb videos that people watch, because I watch a lot of that. Let's be honest. We all watch the memes and share it and all the brain rot content. But I don't want mine to be the brain rot content, which is what I work towards. Yeah. Thank you. I think we might, okay, we have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Check. Hi, Dolly.
Hello.
I want you to take a minute to just talk us through how did Best Worst Date come into being? What was the idea behind it? Because I feel it's instrumental in wanting creators to put an IP out there on Instagram, also
Yeah.
change the paradigm of what a creator can do. So
Yeah.
could you just talk us through that, please?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you. I think it's incredible what creators have been able to do, by the way. Like, I feel really proud of being a part of this community. And Best Worst Date is a show I made on Instagram. I showed you a clip of, a photograph of COVID Love Story, which was a show I made before any of this happened. Honestly, I had not seen something like this before. It might have happened. I'm not saying I'm the first one, but I did not see it, at least in the kind of content that I was watching. And like I said, I came from long form. I loved writing long form. And I was always trying to find a way to still write long form, but make it short form, which is when the idea of having episodes came to me. Is if I can divide it down, if I can write that long story but then cut it down into different episodes, will it work? And that's how I experiment with the COVID Love Story, and it worked. People loved it so much that they asked for a season 2, and I was like, season 2? That makes it too serious. I never thought of it as a season. Come on. But you know, as a creator, this is what brings joy to you, when people actually engage with your content, when they ask for more. And we did a second season, and it went well. And of course, 2-3 years later now, we have done Best Worst Date, which a lot of people have seen, and we've done 2 seasons. We're working on the 3rd. Similar vibes. Again, wanted to tell a long story. Thought episodes would work. And now, in fact, I feel like this new trend of having episodes is so out there. I mean, people have episodes, 10 episodes of cooking something, making a mess, being relatable, right? It doesn't even have to be something fictional anymore. You can have parts or episodes of so many things, which makes your content so much easier, because earlier there was so much pressure of trying to say the whole thing under 60 seconds. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can actually have episodes and parts and make people come back. And actually, it's now a big tool to make the audiences come back. So with Best Worst Date, I wanted to have a story. I wanted to have an IP. And I wanted to also work with brands like that. Because I feel like the brand integrations that, like I said, fall naturally in the story, come naturally integrated in a more organic way, are the ones that actually work. And the audiences don't mind watching them, right? Or learning about that product or about that service. So for me, it was one of those encapsulating things where I could try too many things together. In fact, in the second season, last episode, in case you have not seen it, I did a fun thing. I experimented because on Instagram or internet, you can experiment, you can have fun, like I said, right? So I was like, okay, if I make a big short film or I make a feature film, I might not be able to do this, but on Instagram, I can. So what we did was in the semi-finale of the second season, between the love triangle that was happening in the show, I made the audiences choose the guy. So you tap on that poll and you choose the ending, right? Don't blame it on me tomorrow. It's all on you. And I wanted people to fight, and so they did in the comments because everybody had their favorite, right? They were swinging between both or confused, or some were really on one side or really on the other side. And as a creator, that's what you want to watch, and that's what you want people to do, is to engage with your content on a much, much deeper level, not just like and leave, not just say cute and leave. You want people to write paragraphs in the comments, right? So work towards that. I mean, if that's your goal, that is. For me, that is. I want people to engage and fall in love and keep coming back and keep like asking for content, which also gives pressure, but yeah. Any last question? I think we may have 2 more minutes. Yes, there. Yes.
So first of all, really thank you for taking this wonderful session.
Thank you.
And we were just talking about being relatable. But in this day and age, Instagram has been very much cluttered.
Yeah.
Like if we have to be relatable, then there are मतलब 10 बंदे हैं जिसका breakup हो रहा है, आप अकेले नहीं हो, ऐसा है. तो फिर उसमें how can we find our own authenticity? How can we add our own flair? Can you please guide us through this?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's a great question. I do feel the internet space is definitely cluttered. There's so many influencers, so many content creators. Every house has one. Everybody wants to be one. In fact, people just experiment. They go on travel or they make house videos and they make videos with their cats and their dogs and their children and they upload them in the hopes that it may go viral. And it does sometimes. And then your life changes and then you take content seriously. I've seen so many creators come into being like that, right? Just by fluke. Because one video worked. And why not? Because if you want to, if you enjoy something like that, if you enjoy making videos, you should actually try it. A low barrier of entry, like I said. But it is cluttered. It is too much. There is too many people to watch. And too many people to remember as an audience. You don't remember your creators anymore. Like I watch so many people, I don't remember their names. I don't know what their usernames are. Sometimes I'm looking back, I'm like, okay, who's that girl? And then I don't remember. So you're absolutely right. One way I deal with it is, even with that relatability, your voice can be unique, your tone, the way you edit, the way you write your text, the way you shoot your videos, maybe your angles are different, right? So just trying to create that uniqueness otherwise. Of course, you can be talking about that breakup, but it can be a vlog, it can be a documentary, it can be a thriller, you know? It can be a fashion video, get ready with me for a breakup party. And then you talk about it. It can be story time like Apurva does, which is lovely, right? It can be a POV. So try to find what format works for you, if not the content. Because we've all done the same content. You know, I've seen over the years, back in the day, we used to make videos about how mothers react when guests come over, or how girls react in a washroom, you know, how we connect in a ladies' toilet. Now, of course, I've done that content, but I've seen in those 10 years, I've seen so many renditions of it. And what works over time is that new language. How are you saying the exact same thing again? That's what brings that new flavor, brings that new masala, makes it fresh again. Even after having seen so many of the same stuff, so many of the same taglines, the same peg, over and over again, it can still be new and it can still be you if you try to just create that difference. So get inspired by people, but always bring your own storytelling, your own sort of personality to that, your own voice to that. I mean, that's what you can try. That's what I try. But thank you for your question. That was a great question. Any last question? Yes.
As an actor, like what I can give them, like मतलब as a like short film के लिए हम लोग जैसे कि आपने बोला
Yeah.
कि पूरा नहीं देखते,
Yeah.
so एक वो clips देने के लिए, like
Yeah.
एक spark देने के लिए,
Yeah.
what I can do for them, like
Yeah.
so
I mean, I mean, as long as you act well, works.
Personal.
But, I mean, practice. Practice, see if you can attend a workshop before you actually go on the floor. Because I've done it both ways. I've once done it without any prep. And, you know, it's easy to work on Instagram and prop your camera on a tripod and then just, you know, shoot yourself. But when you work with a lot of people and you work on a set, it's different. So try to practice it before you actually go on one day and then you're anxious and nervous. Try to practice monologues at home. Do those things, acting exercises. You can find a lot on YouTube. So do that, but as a short film that you guys are making, to also make it internet friendly, what you can do is when you're writing it and maybe revise it again, revisit it and see if you have some of those, if you can take out some clips which are going to look like full videos on their own, but if people want to watch further, they can actually watch the whole film, or maybe it ends on a cliffhanger, right? A 30-second clip, because I mean, sad, but at the end of the day, everything has to have content. Tomorrow, if I'm making a big film also, I'll have to think of what my approach with short form content going to be. If I have a brand, I still have to think what the content I'm putting is going to be like, or the influencers I'm working with, what should they be doing for me, right? So everything is around content now, which is why you'll have to maybe revisit and think of your teaser and trailer and the clips that you would want to, you know, put out. I think it'll be fun. All the best. I mean, this is incredible what you guys are doing. Okay, guys, thank you so much. This has been really nice. I was not expecting the footfall. I genuinely thought 4 people will show up. Trust me, I was talking to my manager, Gauri, and I was like, Gauri, koi nahi aane wala 9:30 baje. But you guys have shown support, so that means a lot. And I hope you learned something today. And I hope you take something back. See you.